Hey guys, welcome back to the Yellow Brick Road 1111. As I always say, 1111 means new beginnings. I'm going to be hitting on quite a few subjects today. I don't know, once I start talking, I just start talking. So if you've ever listened to anything that I've put out, then you know how my videos go. I could say I'm going to talk about this, but I end up talking about that. So this is the thing. I want to start out talking about when our intentions, like when we set our intentions about things. Many people don't understand that if we are doing things for the wrong reasons, that's when we create problems in our life. When we are doing things for the ego, that's when we create problems in our lives. So when we honestly want to do things from our heart and from love and from joy and from happiness and things like that, that's when we start to see growth and prosperity and success in our lives. And many people don't understand that. Like they want to go after stuff and do stuff just for the ego part of it, not because they want to help people, not because this or that or higher vibrational things. They literally want to do it from an ego standpoint. And when you do things from an ego standpoint, it's either going to get you stuck to where you're in the same cycle, or it's going to create a lot of problems in your life because you're not doing things with good intentions behind it. You're doing it from an ego standpoint. So, and the ego can range anywhere from materialism all the way to addictions. So, that is the ego. So, when you are doing things to purely help people, when you are doing things to make others prosper, this is the thing. When you go through a spiritual awakening, you will see and understand that we as humanity is one. We are not separate. We are not anything like that. We have ultimately been lied to about everything. We are part of source that has created everything. So with us being part of that source, we are one gigantic, huge system. There is no separation. So when you go into wanting to do things from an ego standpoint or from a lower vibration, that is when you start creating problems in your life. You have to have the intentions of good. You have to have the intentions of love. You have to have the intentions of joy or happiness. Or you're doing things because it creates happiness. You're doing things because it helps people. You're doing things like that. You see what I'm saying? But the ego is all about self. The ego is all about I. When you raise your vibration enough, you will see it's we. Because we are a whole. We are divinity, God, and all is one. So, and when you understand that, when you start going through a spiritual awakening, you will understand what I'm saying. You will understand what I'm talking about. I know when I first heard that, when I didn't understand what that meant and how things worked on the earth and things like that, it really confused me as to how we could be one. But then the more I went through my spiritual awakening, I understood it. I got it then. So when you watch a lot of these videos out here, they don't explain a lot of things to you. All they tell you is go in and do the work. Go in and do the work. But a lot of them, they don't tell you how to do the work. They don't even, like for me, it took me a long time to figure out what they was talking about. How to even go in and start doing the work on myself. So, and that's when you truly sit in a quiet place. And I'm just being honest with you. You have to quiet your mind. And when you quiet your mind, ask yourself questions. And wait for that answer, because you will get that answer. You will receive that answer. Because that answer is coming from your higher self. A lot of people, when they explain doing inner work, they don't really explain it in detail. So when you realize that you have issues, when you realize that you have things going on, let's say you can't stop thinking about something, or let's say you're trying to go in and work on your self-worth and value. Well, that's when you go back and you think about times when you didn't recognize your worth or value. And you say, that's not who I am anymore. And you say, I have realized my self-worth and value, and I'm not settling anymore. And when you say that, when you truly start saying that from your heart, and when you truly mean it, the universe will know it. You can't just say it to go to the next level. That's not how it works. The universe, God, source, whatever you want to call it, I don't care. But the universe knows how you truly feel inside. The universe knows when you're lying. The universe knows if you're fibbing. The universe knows if you're just saying it to try to get to the next level. So you might as well just be honest and be honest with yourself about how you're really feeling. Because this is the thing. If you're not really honest with yourself about how you're feeling, and if you're not honest with yourself about how certain things make you feel, how do you expect somebody else to be honest with you if you can't even be honest with yourself? See, because this is the thing. Like I explained in my last video, the universe is a mirror. It sends us how we feel inside. So first and foremost, start working on your honesty. Start being honest with yourself and who you are. When you start working on yourself and who you are inside, and letting who you are shine. Because you know what? We are all here to be different. We are not all here to be the same. In this society that we live in now, they want you to feel that it's bad to be different. It's bad not to believe what they believe. It's bad if your opinion is different, and that's not the case. You are allowed to have your own opinions. You are allowed to have your own ways that you feel about things. It's okay to step outside of what society says. Because when you are following society, you're running on autopilot. I have not seen one awakened person that follows what society says. I have not seen one awakened person that goes by what society says is correct. Everybody that I have ever seen that has woken up to realize who we are and why we are here, they don't go by what society says. They go by what their inner voice tells them. They are letting their higher self guide them. And when you truly release control, and when you truly allow your inner self to guide you, you will start noticing your life getting better. See, because let me ask you this. Have you ever been with somebody that your inner voice told you that they was cheating on you? They was cheating on you. I don't care what that person tells you, they was cheating on you. Because listen to this. Your inner voice never lies to you. Your inner voice isn't going to steer you in a wrong direction. Your inner voice isn't going to say, hey, you need to watch out for this person if nothing is up. Your inner voice is the God in you that sees all and knows all. So when you start listening to that, and when you start truly letting that inner God in you guide you, watch how much your life shifts. And I'm being just straight up and honest with you. Watch how much your life really shifts for the better. Because for one, you're no longer running on autopilot. For two, you're letting your inner self guide you to where you need to be in life, to where you're supposed to be in life, to the things that you are here to do in this lifetime. Because you are not here to work your life away and then get thrown at a box in the end of that life. That's not why you're here. But that's what society has drilled into us to believe. That's why we are here. And that's not it. And there's a lot of people out there that can't open their minds enough to see that. You are here to enjoy, to create, to be happy, to love, to prosper, to grow. You know, this is the thing. A lot of us have trouble listening to our inner voice, thinking that our inner voice isn't correct. Well, let me tell you this. Every time I think back that my inner voice told me something, my inner voice was correct. My inner voice was right on the dot. So this goes along with, like, you know, The Wizard of Oz. Let's get into that, because The Wizard of Oz is a very spiritual movie. The Wizard of Oz is a very telling movie. Okay, so let me write this down so I don't forget. Okay, so Dorothy is you, me, us. Okay? Toto is your inner voice. Listen to this. Every time Toto would bark to tell Dorothy something was there, Toto was correct. Toto was never wrong through that whole movie. So Toto is your inner voice, your inner God, okay? Your intuition. The Emerald City, where Dorothy wants to go, is her heart. Because if you look, green is the color of the heart chakra. Okay, so Emerald City, where Dorothy is going to, is her heart. Now, there was the lion that needed courage, which I'm going to get into these right here in a second. The Tin Man, he needed a heart. And the Scarecrow, a brain. Okay, so we're even going to talk about the Wicked Witch and the Good Witch. Okay, so we left off at Emerald City. So the Lion, the Tin Man, and the Scarecrow is about walking your spiritual path, your spiritual journey, waking up to who you are, because you need courage to do it. Okay? Not only that, but you will end up changing the way your brain thinks, changing your perspective of things. So that's the brain. In the heart, you're waking your heart up. That's why when you go through a spiritual awakening, you get a heart chakra awakening. So now the Wicked Witch is your ego. Is the one that tries to steer you off of your spiritual path. Now, the Good Witch of the North, Glinda, she even says it in the movie. She says, you've had the power within you all along. You've just had to find it out yourself. You are the creator of your own reality. But Dorothy, she had to go to Emerald City. And when you go through a heart chakra awakening, you figure out that you have been lied to your whole life. That we have been looking outside of ourselves for somebody to come and save us, when it's up to us to save ourselves. And when you go through a heart chakra awakening, you finally see that. You finally realize that. You finally understand the truth. That this whole thing to look for somebody to come save us has been a lie. We have the power within us to do it ourselves. We just have to wake up to see that. Many people, they think that The Wizard of Oz is just a kid's movie. They think that The Wizard of Oz is just whatever. That's why I named this the Yellow Brick Road. Is because it's about walking the enlightened path. It's about walking your spiritual journey. It's about walking that road. Hush. Rascal. Knock it off. Sorry, guys. So, that's what it is. And that's why this channel was named The Yellow Brick Road. It's because when you start to wake up and see things for how they really are, you have the power within you to change your reality. You just have to get up and do it. It's not going to be easy. Well, it can be easy. It's how your mindset is. But it's not going to happen overnight. Rascal! Sorry, guys. He keeps hearing my neighbor outside. But when Dorothy gets to that curtain and finds out the wizard is a fraud, think about that. She finally realizes that she had the power within herself to take her back to Kansas. You have the power within you to do anything you want to do. You are a creator. You are creating your life as we speak. You just don't understand how you're doing it. And it's through how you feel inside and your subconscious beliefs. And when we start to wake up, to realize that we have created our lives, that we have created everything that has happened, that's when you start making better choices. That's when you start opening up to what your heart is telling you to do, to what that inner voice is guiding you towards. That's when you truly stop listening to your ego. Because, man, that ego will get you stuck. That ego will keep you in life patterns. That ego will just hold you back in fear of being that magnificent creator that you are. See, because, listen, the ego knows it's temporary. And the ego knows once you realize it, the ego's gone. And you start truly running off your higher self. You start wanting to do better and create better. And you want to help humanity as a whole. Because you realize that helping humanity as a whole is part of who you are. So with you helping humanity, you're also helping yourself. With you wanting others to do better, you're going to do better. You see how it works? Now, listen, if you're so stuck in the ego that you don't want your ex-boyfriend to move on or be happy or this or that and all this and that, then you're still stuck in the ego. When you truly think about that person and you say, hey, good for them. I hope they're happy. And you truly mean it from within you, that's when your soul is growing. We are all here to learn lessons. We are all here to learn who we are. We are all here to help each other. But you've got to get out of the ego way of thinking, because the ego is the first thing that's going to stop you. The ego is the one that tells you can't do it. The ego is the one that says you can't be successful. The ego is the one that tells you that you're not worthy. The ego is the one that tells you all this mumbo jumbo crap just to keep you stuck. And when you stop letting that ego control your thoughts and how you feel, that's when you truly level up your consciousness. That's when you truly realize, I am not that person anymore. I am somebody that loves, that's happy, that's joyful, that wants others to prosper, that wants others to grow. And I'm helping others do it. That's when your soul really starts growing from within. A lot of people out there are still so stuck in their ego that it's crazy. It's just really crazy. It's like even a couple of my friends, they're still like stuck in their ego, and I try to talk to them about getting out of the ego way of thinking, that because this is the thing. I don't like being around people that gossip bad about other people. I don't, because I've got out of that. So when my friends start to do that, I will get up and I will leave the table, or I will get up and remove myself from that conversation. And it's created problems in my relationship, and I've truly had to walk away from people because they don't understand that I'm no longer running off of the ego inside of me. I'm running off my higher self. So when they decide that they want to, gossip and talk about people, I don't participate. I walk away. And that's part of not caring about what others feel about you. Because if you're so worried about what somebody feels about you or what somebody's going to think about you because you're not going to stand around and gossip bad about other people, oh well. You can't be worried about that. You have to be thinking about who you are. And is what you're doing truly lining up with who you are inside? If you standing there gossiping is truly who you are inside, then continue to do so. But if that's not lining up with who you are in your heart anymore, then don't participate in it. You have to be willing to lose people. And along this journey, you're going to lose a lot of people. People you never thought you would lose in your life. Why? Because you're now running off your higher self. You're now thinking different from the way they think. You're now no longer that person. You see what I'm saying? You no longer think the way that they think. You no longer resonate with gossiping or doing drugs or this or that or the other thing. So things that you used to participate in, you will find no interest whatsoever. And then you're going to have your friends come up to you and asking you, hey, what's wrong? Why ain't you doing this? Why ain't you going to go out with us tonight? Why ain't this? Why ain't that? And it's because that's no longer who you are. Yeah, you can go out and have fun. And you're going to go out and have fun. That's what this journey is all about. But it's not doing low vibrational things to keep your vibration low. It's about doing higher vibrational things. And when you finally step out of that ego and realize, wow, I'm not that person. I no longer think like that. I no longer resonate with that. I no longer am that other side of who I thought I was. That's when your soul really starts to grow. Because you realize there's the ego you and the higher version of you. And once you realize that it's okay to release that control, to let that guard down, to let that barrier down, and start just running off of this, your life is going to shift so much for the better. Because you're no longer running off lower vibration. That's when you know that you've raised your vibration tremendously. Is when you come into union with your higher self. Many people don't understand that on the twin flame journey, they believe that their twin flame is somebody else. Or people that's never been through a spiritual awakening will say, oh, I'm with my twin flame or this or that or the other thing. And your twin flame is actually the higher version of you. Your twin flame is your higher self. And that's when you let the ego go and you start running off your higher self. That's who your true twin flame is. It's about becoming one with you. That higher version of you, that intuition in you, that God in you. That's what it is. So you'll end up having a lot of friends that you have to walk away from. Even some family members, because they won't understand why you're doing the things you're doing. They won't understand why you feel the way you feel. They won't understand why all of a sudden one day you want to up and sell your stuff and go start an animal rescue or go to the woods of Indonesia and help people or this or that. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not going to understand that. Like, I'm not saying that everybody does that along a spiritual journey, but some people, that's what they want to do. And that's what their higher self leads them to do. And some people's not going to understand that. They're going to call you crazy. They're going to think you're insane. But when you truly and honestly are listening to your higher self and letting your higher self guide you and doing what your higher self says, that's when you know that you have become one with yourself. Buddha talked about it. Jesus talked about it. Jesus even told you the kingdom of heaven is within. So many people say, oh, when you die, you go to heaven. Bullshit. No. The Bible don't say nothing like that. The Bible tells you the kingdom of heaven is within you. And when Jesus was talking about a temple, he was talking about his body. He wasn't talking about some building. And so many people are waiting on some Messiah to come save them when you have to save yourself. Yeah, Jesus walked this earth, but Jesus also left you notes to go by. Buddha left the same thing. Because if you compare the two, they're telling you to go within, do the work. All these churchgoers, Christian people, and this and that, they want to say that you don't believe in God if you don't go to church and all this and that. Well, you know what? I asked the pastor one time when I was going to church, and this is truly what got me to wake up and to realize that wasn't where I was meant to be. It was because in Jeremiah, it tells you not to take a tree out of the forest and adorn it with silver and gold and put it in your house. That's a Christmas tree. So I asked my pastor, I said, why do you do this when the Bible tells you not to? And he couldn't give me a clear answer, but he said, that's not what the Bible says. I said, yes, it is. It's clear as day, right here. And I showed him. So not only that, it was, quite a few more passages in the Bible I asked my pastor about when I was going to church. And he couldn't answer my questions. He truly could not answer my questions. And when I realized that who I was learning from could not answer my questions, why was I going? Because it tells you in there, the kingdom of heaven is within you. God is within you. Your body is the temple of God. And then when I asked him one time, I said, So, do you believe that God is within us, or do you believe that God is a church? Like you have to go to church to believe. And when that pastor told me that he thought that if you didn't go to church, you wasn't going to go to heaven, I said, but the Bible says the kingdom of heaven is within you. The Bible don't say nothing about going to heaven when you die. He could not answer that. He didn't know how to answer that. And it's because I will tell you, he's not awake. When you realize that God is within you, that you can do all things, it's your mind that limits you from doing those things. That's when you realize who you are. We are divine beings. We have always been lied to about who we are, why we are here, and to look outside of ourselves for somebody to come save us. When Buddha and Jesus teach the same thing. I don't know, guys. I know this, that I always start out saying I'm going to talk about one thing, but I end up talking about completely other stuff. So that's just the way it goes though with me. Like I'll get off on one subject and start talking about something else just because that's what my heart is leading me to talk to. So it's not going to be set things as to what I talk about on here because I talk about whatever comes to my heart to say. So that means that somebody obviously needs the messages that I'm putting out there for my heart to guide me towards what to say. But I hope these videos help you, and I hope that you guys are doing well. All right, guys, thanks for watching or listening.